Hey, this is Jack Downs. It occurred to me that although I think you have enough information to prepare your index cards for your entomology naming presentation, and actually had information on a handout that you received earlier and in the entomology handout itself. Um, I told you I was going to go over it with you, and I am going to go over this again on Monday, but it'd be great if between now and then, Thursday, Friday, over the weekend, you're able to prepare your finish preparing your presentation, have your index cards ready so that on Monday you could do some practice. So therefore, I'm going to do a little video lesson, which I said I will kind of repeat, but please watch this lesson now. It's brief, about preparing index cards, how you convert the notes that you've made on index cards. Remember, the idea is you would have made notes from the online and or library research you did under the history and meaning of your name. You prepared notes, actually a transcript that you're going to hand in to me. You're actually going to bring typed up afterwards on a piece of paper and hand in on the presentation day, this coming Wednesday, the notes from the interview that you did with a family member, almost certainly, about how you got your name, why your name was selected, how you were given that name in particular, and so on. And then, so those notes, and then you probably made some notes about your personal feelings about your names, things, just think about it for a little while and mull it over and brainstorm a little bit. What things would you say about it? What is your name really, how does it feel to you? What does it mean to you? How does it, well, does it or doesn't it reflect you? So you made those notes. So how do you convert them to index cards, to the actual index cards? Well, first of all, I'm going to remind you that we had a handout way back when called Communication Apprehension, right? It was on a yellow sheet of paper in your packet. At the very last page of it, I said we'd skip it for then, but there is actually the guidelines for using index cards. So let me go through these first and narrate a little bit. To use cards effectively, first, never write your entire speech on your card. Absolutely not. Occasionally, there might be a complete sentence. Mostly, it's just keywords, kind of like bullet points and outline kind of information, stuff to give you the little prompts that you need. You know the stuff. You should know the stuff. You need to know the stuff. So you just need to have a little hint to keep you going at the right place, keep you organized. Use white index cards, regular white index cards. These are 4x6 cards. These are the ones I would like you to use. I have them in the classroom for you to pick up. I have them on my office door. You don't have to go buy them, but if you do go buy cards, get 4x6 blank index cards. Also listed here is a note that says, please don't just make up imaginary index cards off of pieces of paper. Please use real index cards, okay? So you know you cannot show up with loose leaf paper and say you're gonna use that as an index card. Use index cards. Get them in the classroom, get them off my office door. Write on one side of the card only, and you should number your cards. Frankly, you're only gonna have, what, maybe 3 cards for this. So it's not, the numbering is not that important. But in a bigger presentation, you might have more cards. But yes, they should be numbered. Put a little number in the upper right-hand corner or left corner of each card. Never avoid holding the cards with both hands. When you're doing your presentation, you're not going to do it with both hands, holding onto it. You're going to have one hand for the card, one hand to gesture with. Okay? And the only time you have 2 hands is when you switch the cards. You switch the next card to the next card. And you should be able to do that even still looking at the audience. Try to keep it to a small number of cards. Fewer cards are better. Maybe you'll just do it on 2 cards, all right? But again, only on one side of the card do you write. Write legibly, yeah, and you may find you have to want to write a little bigger than you normally do because you're going to try to be looking at it and looking back, right? So it's supposed to be right there just as a guide. Write legibly, write a little bigger. You could use different color inks or underlining or things like that, anything that helps you out. Follow a visual framework, think an outline. That's the idea, right? Remember, you get these 3 main ideas. So those could be Roman numeral number 1, 2, and 3 in your index cards. That'll help you out. Consider what things will you write out more exactly, more thoroughly. Probably the stuff in your introduction. So if you have a particular introductory sentence that you want to use, for instance, you might even write out a full sentence. In my preparation for this presentation, I just wrote intro, and I wrote a couple of words I want to make sure to say. I'm thinking about you need to have at least 2 attention-getting devices. Mine are going to be rhetorical question and startling statement kind of put together. So I would say, as I began, look up to the classroom, put a long pause, even look down, look up, smile, get stable. Do you think I'm a jack of all trades? Maybe a jack in the box? Maybe a jackass? Well, I don't know about that. I think of myself as just a plain jack. And as I'll explain to you, first we will discuss how the word name Jack has a long history and lots of different meanings from the past. I'll describe for you the story about how I got my name Jack. And finally, I'll explore the question of how I feel about my name Jack. Okay, that was okay. You see in my but by the way, then there'd be a long pause, and I would start with the first main idea. Okay, so what I just did was my attention-getting devices, rhetorical question with a startling statement having jackass in there, and then I built very quickly to the actual name, and then I did a signposted preview statement. And all that took up here, and you can't read this, it's backwards, you know, is just a few lines. Yes, I could have written out the actual sentence I was going to use more fully for that first part. I didn't feel like I needed to. I just wrote down jack of all, jackbox, jackass, and I got that. All right. And I could have thrown in more introduction, probably. Only other thing I would say is that in my signposted preview statement, as I just did it here, just thinking about it now, I only used the word we in one of the 3. First, we will, and I said I will. So try to keep the we language. I'm not always a good example. All right, so what else? Give yourself cues for delivery. For example, smile, pause, wait. You know, write things like that in there. Write them on your cards. Gesture. How about emotion? Let's get some energy. That would be a good thing to write in here too. And really what you start thinking about that as you're doing your presentations. And don't use homemade cards, I already said that. And don't prepare your cards in class. Of course, in class, your job is to be an audience. The preparation happens before class. So I guess that's my lesson about using the cards. You might actually write out more of a full sentence at the end for the conclusion also, if you have some particular clincher you want to use. You could have the 3 cards set up as introduction, body, and then a separate card for conclusion. If you did that, you might even have 4 cards because maybe your main ideas all don't fit on one card. Maybe you're going to need other cards for that. And another thing you're going to write out more fully and exactly is you're going to have the sources in your main idea number 1, the research sources that you used. You're going to probably write those out more fully. But the information you're going to say from those sources will probably be more like bullet points, right? But you're going to want to get the source, the name of the website, name of the author, name of the book, when it was written, name of the article, whatever, stuff like that. You're probably going to want to write that out more fully on your card too. So I hope that helps. Please let me know if you have any questions. Go over this again. It'd be great if you could have your index cards all made up and even done some practice on your own. But by the time class happens on Monday, and do a little more practice afterwards, then do practice Monday night and Tuesday night, and you'd be ready to do your presentation Wednesday.